Welcome back guys, it's Colin with the Sun Pirates TCG, and today we are featuring Red Green Smoker. So this is a leader that was not super talked about at the beginning of the OP-11 format for us. I think mostly because of the starter decks kind of overshadowing it. But honestly, this leader is really strong. It has a really solid win percentage on the rank sim, and it has quite a few tops and regionals. So this list I brought today is pretty similar to what you'll see doing well in a lot of regional tournaments. The main crux of it is the new Peacock or Kujaku searcher out of OP-11. Being a Navy searcher means that you can find these dual types cards, which the 5-drop Smoker on curve is just so important for the deck. So finding that more consistently is just almost everything that the archetype wanted. Not only that, but Virgo is also a Navy, so you can go Peacock into Virgo to find a Punk Hazard card. And yeah, so going into the Punk Hazard side of it, it's a lot of the same stuff you've seen in OP-10, so the 4 Virgos, 4 Tashigis, 4 Smokers, Sanjis, Choppers, and then a couple copies each of Monet and Kamakura. This one in particular is pretty good right now. It's good against the aggro decks like Belo Betty, and also against Black, Purple, and Green Purple Luffy, especially that minus 2000 versus the 6-drop Gear 2nd Luffy. It makes that double attack less effective. And then for the Navy stuff, like I said before, we have the Peacock, which can find Smoker, Tashigi, a couple copies of the Borsalino. This one actually does come up quite a bit. Mostly you target your leader to attack an active character, which can be things like Bon Clay's, 3-drop Zorojuro, even active Karasus. So this actually has quite a few applications. Moving on for Navy stuff, we have a few copies of the Rocinante, which is a mainstay in this deck. Then a couple copies of X-Drake as a new 2K for the list. Doesn't seem like much because it's a vanilla, but because it's a 7K, it does interact with Smoker's leader ability. And then we have a couple copies of Honesty Impact, which is a searchable removal spell. And it is the biggest removal spell in red now, since you can pretty much use this to KO anything out of Blue Purple Luffy. Think like Big Moms, 9-drop Luffys, Katakuris. So this honestly catches quite a bit. And then for the non-archetypal cards, we have a couple copies of Baccarat. This lets us smoothen out our counter, since we have quite a few like non-counter cards in the deck, and also being a blocker that you can play off of Captain Kidd. And now that I mentioned him, we have the 4 copies of Captain Kidd. This is a really solid brick wall this format against the aggro decks, and even against Blue Purple Luffy, just really hard to deal with when backed up by Tashigi. 4 Hody Jones, again, we're in a Gum Gum Giant format, so this is one of the best creatures in the format. And then last but not least, we have 3 copies of Mulgun. This is still a really excellent removal spell this format, especially dealing with key targets such as Sanji Pudding and Beer Luffy. So still a really strong staple in red as of right now. But yeah, that's the list, guys. Remember, before we get into our gameplay, to subscribe and let me know what decks we should try next. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so we're going first versus Blue Purple Luffy, and honestly, this hand's not that bad. I think I'll keep this. Like, we curve out, we have Baccarat into 5-drop Smoker, and then we have the Hody Jones for the end game. I think I just want to get the pressure going off the bat. I have an opportunity to play Baccarat later on, when I'm going to have so much Dawn from these Smokers. We'll take the 6K. Okay. Rosinante's not a bad draw here. We can go one of our 4 5-drop Smokers. I just noticed. We set 2 non-active, set 1 active. Then we'll poke for 6. And then we'll bring out the Rosinante. Okay, so opponent's up to 7 Dawn. Okay, so they go ahead and putting us here. That's fine. At least we got the Smoker established beforehand, and we got Captain Kidd and Hody Jones again, so that's good for us. They go in for a 7K swing. I think knowing that I have the Captain Kidd now, I think I just keep taking from here. that's a lot of guys. All right. So the thing that's kind of annoying is that they're holding up 2 Dawn, which kind of signals to me that they have Thunder Bagua ready to go. You know something really funny is that I could go Hody to lock out their Thunder Bagua, and then I get to restand 3 Dawn and play a Tashigi to protect my stuff from card effects. I go to 1, and then I'm gonna be able to take out the Bond Clay because I'm gonna rest it with Hody. Actually, that sounds really good. So we'll go Hody, rest Bond Clay, rest one of their Dawn. Uh, then we go reactive 2 Dawn, active another Dawn. Okay. Then I can poke 5 over the Bond Clay. That takes it. Then we go 7 Banish at leader. And then we go 8 at lead. Pretty cool that the Banish connected, actually. Ooh, and they took? Ooh, wow. Okay. And then the play is still the same regardless. We bring out Tashigi to insulate ourselves from removal, then we'll pass. And I think I'm pretty safe here. I know I'm only at 1 health, but I got the blocker out. And 3k encounter, so... They also don't know my hand, so I don't think they're gonna try to go for it to kill us. Okay, so opponent does have the Big Mom, but really their only target is the Tashigi here. And they do tap out for this, which is really cool for us. Okay, so let's see what they stuff. It's probably going to be the Tashigi if I had to guess. They could try to stuff something else and rest my Tashigi. Okay, so they attempt to add Smoker. So I do rest to prevent it. And then they pass. Oh, okay. I think they pretty much lose from there. I probably would have gone 8k at lead with the Smoker. They give up 2 cards potentially, then I hit them with the Hody Jones, and then they only have 2k. So, yeah, I think we had all kinds of ways of winning that from there. Sweet. Okay, and now we're up against Black-Purple Luffy, going first again, and honestly, this hand's not bad. I'll keep this. We have the Smoker, we have the Mulgun to follow up, so... Okay, so opponent goes Law, grabbing their 2k Sanji, that's cool. We go hit 5 at lead. They take, alright. And then we go Sanji. So we're pretty much doing the typical Smoker stuff. Okay, so they went Zoro to ramp up. We could probably just take here. Nice, we hit the Captain Kid. And then honestly, I'm not super opposed to just like taking a bunch down and then dropping Captain Kid, because I don't believe they have any real removal for this. So yeah, we'll just... Ooh, do I want to shoot down their Zoro? I already have the Mole Pistol out. I think just to be safe, we'll shoot down the Zoro. I could save it for something bigger down the line, but I think the Mulgun should be enough, because we go Smoker right now. And then next turn I can play Mulgun to shoot their next threat, and then the turn after is Captain Kid. Okay, so we got a 3 Dawn back. I think I can just ignore the 1 drop. We'll just go 5 at lead. Then we'll go 6 at lead. And now the next question is, do I want to establish Kizaru or Baccarat? I think I want the Baccarat out first, since she's guaranteed to be helpful down the line. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to need Borsalino or Kizaru for his ability. Okay, so nice. They have the Beer Luffy, which I have the Mulgun for, so we got that lined up. And they're gonna go after our Sanji. I'm just gonna let that go. The 7 into 4, yeah, it's... we just let it go like that. Dashigi's a nice backup too. Okay, let's just get this out of the way. We'll go Mole Pistol, Shrink and Kill. And this is why Mole Pistol is just so good this format. There are just so many 7k bodies that are incidentally insulated by cost, but not insulated by power, right? So we'll set it on active, set 2 more on active. Gosh, this deck is so fun. We can do a lot of stuff here. Let's go Virgo. Unfortunately, I cannot grab another Mole Pistol. It's actually just Sanji. That's the only Punk Hazard card in there. I think I do want to establish the Tashigi to protect my Smoker from like a Black Sanji or something to that extent. So at any rate, we'll just go ahead and poke 7, banish first, see what they do. They probably take a card out of hand. So we got the 2k that they searched a long time ago. And then I think I'll poke another 7. I think this will... Okay, we put him down to 1. Nice, nice. And then I'm still at 2 health, and I have the Baccarat available, so I think I'm pretty safe to just establish the Tashigi and pass. So that way, like I said, I protect my Smoker from the Black Sanji. And I think I'm pretty safe from dying with the Baccarat on the board. Since her ability, even if they rested, I can still use her ability to like trade a Smoker into a 2k. Okay, so they bring out the 9-drop Luffy. And they're going after our 8k Smokers. So, how do I want to go about this? I could just use Baccarat to pitch the other Smoker and then give a 1k. I'm just deciding if I need to save it for Captain Kid. I think that's worth. I think having the 7k banish, it's worthwhile to keep poking them with. So we'll do it. Baccarat to buff my Smoker, and then I think we'll just... I don't think I need the Sanji. So we'll say no blocks, give the 1k counter. And then we'll definitely take the 5k to face, since we're going to establish Captain Kid. Ooh, Honesty Impact. That's not bad either, actually. Honestly, that might be better than establishing the Captain Kid. I can go Honesty Impact plus establish another blocker. Yeah, let's start with... Okay, let's start with this. Let's start with swinging the 7k banish to see what happens here. I'm gonna leave all my Dawn available to kind of scare them. Okay, so they Gum Gianted. Okay. I'm not sure... Let me know in the comments what you guys would do. I'm gonna go ahead and Honesty Impact the big Luffy. I think the tempo is worth it. Then I can set 2 Dawn active, set 1 more Dawn active, and then I can go... Let's just do 5. I don't really need to swing too high. I can just force 2 cards out because next turn I have another banish swing at them. So I can do it like this, where I just go 5-5. And here we even got a 2k, that's pretty good for us. And then I can follow up with Borsalino as an additional blocker. Okay, so they go for the Beer Luffy. They go Law. Grabs them the 2k Sanji, okay. But they are not able to play the 2k Sanji since we're at the same amount of Dawn. So they go 7 at lead. And the Beer Luffy just came in, so that cannot swing. So I think I'm safe to just take this and sit back on Captain Kid. Okay, we pull a Smoker. That's okay, we can pitch that to Baccarat. And yeah. So we can go... Let's see. I'll start with 7 at 7. I think this is going to force a card out of them regardless. Okay, nice, and we got the Sanji. And then I can go Captain Kid over my Virgo. Restands 3 Dawn. And then, since I don't really need to hold up for a counter event since I don't have one, we can go 9 Banish at lead. Okay, and that forces out the Gum Giant. So notably, they only have 7 Dawn next turn to work with instead of all 10. Then we'll Now, do I want to play over my Tashigi? I don't think so. I think I'm fine with just having like the counter in hand. So I'll say choose no targets. And we'll just pass with Captain Kid taunting. Like, I think I'm pretty safe here. I got 2 blockers here. Okay, the Gum Gum Giants. My Baccarat. But again, they need to swing pretty tall against my Captain Kid to like actually kill it. But I also have the blocker, so I think even with Gear 2nd Luffy, this doesn't quite get there for them. Yeah, so they buff up Big Luffy. I just block with Kizaru. And then what do they do, right? They go 10 like this. I think I just counter like that. Ooh, okay, and Hody Jones is a top deck. That's crazy for us. Just in the nick of time. So yeah, we'll Hody, rest your 2 Dawn, lock you out at Gum Gum Giant. Reactive 2 Dawn. Reactive 1 more Dawn. And then I'll go 9k Banish at lead. Okay, so that's 2 2ks. I'll do another 9 at lead. I'm pretty sure, yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure they had like bricks in hand. Or they were definitely holding up Gum Gum Giant. Yep, oh, okay, they were just bluffing it, okay. Well, still, we got there anyway, so yeah, GG. And now we're up against Belo Betty. And they're going second, so this going first hand is honestly not that bad. We have turn 1 Search, and then turn 2 either Baccarat or Sanji. Yeah, I think I can keep this. So we'll go Virgo, see what we find. And yikes, unfortunately we missed this. So, it doesn't happen super often, but very unfortunate when it does. Okay, so we're basically down a card. Okay, and then they have their turn 1 stage. And then they find a 1-drop that could be pretty bad for us. Okay, so they stage into Inazuma, and okay, I should have been more specific. It would have been bad for us if the 1-drop was the Belo Betty, but Race Max is not too bad for us. Honestly, I can just like hunt it down. I don't think I will though. Even with Kizaru, I think I'm gonna save Kizaru plus Monet for like something bigger, like a Karasu or something. I'll just bring out a Sanji first and foremost. Okay, so they swing 5. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this. Ooh, nice 5-drop Smoker. That's pretty good for us. Okay. So they're pitching Koala. I think they're staging. Okay, so they stage, find their 1-drop Belo Betty Searcher by pitching the Koala. And then they bring out a Lindbergh. Okay. Okay, so we can do some pretty cool stuff here. We can go Smoker. Set 2 Dawn active. Set 1 Dawn active. And then the Lindbergh actually isn't terribly threatening, I think. So I'm just going to go at face and then plan to play out the Baccarat. I'm going to save Monet plus Borsellino, like I said, for something crazier like a Karasu. We'll go in for 6 with the Sanji. I don't really mind if this dies to them going Race Max plus Lindbergh or something to that effect. Like, they could try to like Race Max, kill my Smoker, but they would need like a second Shrinker, like a Koala or another Race Max, right, with the Lindbergh. They go down to 1 though, which is pretty good for us. So, like I said before, I'll just bring out the Baccarat. And then they still only have 6 Dawn, and in order to deal with our board, they have to like commit quite a few cards, I think. As far as like them trying to take out the 5-drop Smoker. Or if they want to like push for a lot of damage, it would still require a couple cards out of their hand. Okay, so opponent tags out their Race Max to shrink our Baccarat. Okay, and they just Kuma it away. Okay, so they're opting to Kuma instead of using their Lindbergh for it, which is kind of interesting. Unless maybe they have another Shrinker, then they can go like Lindbergh, shoot down the Sanji. Or I guess they can kill Virgo too. That also works. Okay, so they buff. Okay, and it looks like they just opt to take out the Virgo. That's fair. So definitely take the 8k swing there. Ooh, another Baccarat. That's not bad. Okay, so they find the 2k Koala, and now they're gonna go 7k at their Sanji. So I guess, yeah, I think opponent's at the point where they need to try to stay alive. In that case, we let it go. We draw a card. That's not bad. Kamakura is a pretty good card against Belo Betty, honestly. It's just so much counter for one card, even if they Okay, an opponent plays Zeus. So are they telling me they're not dead to a 12k swing? How many cards does that take out of them? I guess. So 12 means it would take like at minimum 4 2ks. But if they have it, it's kind of crazy. I know they have at least one 2k because of the koala they searched just earlier. So am I getting jebaited? Okay, I guess technically I don't die next turn regardless, right? I can go something along the lines of like Smoker, set a Dawn active, set 2 Dawn active, and then just like poke 5. And then I can just like bring out Baccarat again. And then hold up like Baccarat plus Kamakura, and I definitely don't die. And like they would have to like shrink their hand further to, you know, to like buff these guys up to like attempt to kill me. But I'm still at 2, so between that and the Kamakura and like all this counter in hand, it's like really hard. So I really don't think I lose here. I think I'm more guaranteed to actually win the game the following turn, or maybe even 2 turns from now too. Like I have plenty of time. Like their board wasn't that impressive from the start, so like I think that's the thing against Betty, is that you can just kind of play patient if you can afford to. And see, like this is exactly what I'm saying, right? Is that they played a bunch of cards out of their hand to like make this kind of board to like attempt to kill me, but like it's just not gonna work out for them. So and we hit the mole gun. I'm not gonna trigger it just out of courtesy to the opponent. I'm not gonna BM them too hard. We definitely live every other permutation regardless. I will guard the 5k swing though. Because we'll just take that. Then I bait him into swing in, and then I Kamakura out of the swing. Yeah, or they attack with Zeus. It's same thing, right? I play Kamakura, buff, and then shrink their leader, and then their turn's over. So, yeah, opponent saying GG in the chat. So, yeah, and then we for sure win there. Alright, but yeah, GG. So going into the wrap up for this, honestly, this deck felt really solid now. As it turns out, 5-drop Smoker is still a really good card, and with your leader being able to play with 3 extra Dawn every turn is very similar to green-purple Luffy. Playing with extra Dawn every turn, as it turns out, is really powerful. So having those 8 searchers being able to do this way more consistently, I think makes the strategy a lot more cohesive. Especially with having new tools like Honesty Impact being able to reach like really high-end stuff, Borsalino letting you reach really low-end stuff, and then other cards like Kamakura and Mulgun really holding down the fort, I think really speaks to the power level of this deck. Now, a lot of the ratios are pretty locked in. Of course, you need a certain number of Punk Hazards and Navies to make the engine cohesive. I think we're playing about 20 of each archetype, but there are a couple of ratios you can mess around with. Like, for example, some of the regional lists I've seen play Monkey D Dragon, the 8-drop, as another big boss monster, which lets you swing like really high numbers out of nowhere, so it's definitely something that's worth trying out. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.